Okay, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Investor Talk. I'm sitting here in Stellenbosch in Cape Town in the office of Jannie Mouton. Jannie Mouton is a billionaire, which he built up from a very humble position around about 1995. His collective investments from the PSG Group, which he is the chairman, and also Zeda Investments, has a market capitalization of 13 billion rand. He also has a significant stake in various other companies from agricultural, particularly the Pioneer Food Group, and a number of other companies which is built up within the PSG Group, which is Capitec Bank and also Kuro. And that collectively, we're talking about a 70 billion investment over there. So we're talking about something really significant. But I think what we're here today is to talk to Jannie about the day that he got fired and where he turned things around. Because there's really a great story in there for you investors, businessmen, entrepreneurs out there that we can learn and that we can apply from. And I think there's great depth and there's a lot of lessons that we can take out of Jannie's experience from the day that he got fired from the firm, that he was in fact the managing director of the company. But he took action, and he took very specific kind of action, and that, I think that's what we first would like to hear from Jannie, and how he's grown his asset base from very humble start to a really, I mean, he's in the top 20 of South African wealthiest, and his companies are certainly in the higher echelons as well. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Jannie Mouton. Well, Jannie, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to interview you there. I think our market out there is from entrepreneurs to businessmen, company owners, and I think you've got a lot of lessons out there. Tell us your story about from that time, from that day you got fired, and what went through your mind and the things you actually did, and then more importantly, what action you took to build the companies that you have to where you are today.
Thank you, Neale. To talk about something that happened in 1995, it's a long time ago, but it was still at that stage, it was important in my life, it was emotional. And I realized that after being down or out, I realized the future is only in my hands and my hands alone, and I must lift my head and go on with my life. And maybe the biggest lesson I can tell people whenever something like that happened to you or a colleague or a friend or family, sit back, analyze yourself. You have time because you're without work, so you have time. Read as much as possible. It's fantastic. Read the lives of successful people, and all of a sudden you will pick up something that inspires you. And I think, write it down. I always tell young people or people that start something, write down your strong points and your weak points, understand yourself, analyze yourself. I have learned a lot because I was fired, and I can tell the story, trying to write down my strong points and my weak points. And after a month I said to my wife, I have a lot of strong points, but not enough weak points. And she said, Jannie, but there must be something wrong. Don't think again, because you were fired, so you must have weak points. And one realized that after a while. You realize that, and that's why I actually am sitting in Stellenbosch, because part of my future plan was to create a small little office where it's peaceful and quiet, where you can sit back and think. And then I've always been interested in businesses and started building out something new again.
Okay, but now you started, what are the books that you read? Because I know there's one particular book that you picked up, and I think it was Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
That made a big impact.
Yes, he inspired me because it wasn't a business book about shares. It was something about inspiration. You believe in a plan and you're fully committed to execute it. You're almost 90% there. So he gave me confidence. work out a plan, know your strong points, weaknesses, know the economy, sit back, and if you have a plan and you believe it, you're 90% there. And that was his words. And I think that inspired me. And there was lots of other wisdom about him. And he wrote about successful people as well. That was very inspirational. So I would say, yeah, that book made a difference in my life.
Did you actually start implementing some of the things out of the book?
Yeah, what's the most important thing? You must know where you want to go. So must you have a clear plan. And I often tell people, write it down. If it's in your head, it's still moving from this to that. But write it down, look again tomorrow, look again next week, and each and every time you refine your plan a bit here and there, and then you must at one stage say, okay, now I must execute. Now, and then maybe I realize I understand the stock exchange, I understand financial services companies, because SMK, being a stockbroker, was in financial services. And I was looking for an opportunity, and then PAG, Professional Assignments Group, a small listed company, came available, and myself and management bought control of the company. And that's where we started. We had a listing then. Later on we changed the name to PAG because we sold the personnel placement group. And that was, and then we started all sorts of other little companies. Yes.
So do you think that was one of the ones that was the turnaround point in your life? Do you think that was the Kickstarter?
For sure, because now I had something to do. I had to go to office. There is a company. I was a majority shareholder, so I had to take responsibility. There were people working there, and it was actually for them and for us a wonderful experience. Looking back, and sometimes people said to me, because we bought control when the company market cap of PAG was 7 million rand, not billion. And we bought more than 50%, it was 3.5 million rand, a small transaction. And within a year and a half, we sold the company.
Right.
Because somebody else approached us, and we sold it for 107 million. Now that was luck. You needed some luck in life as well. It's not only genius. An old friend of mine, Tes Visser, he's not here anymore. He used to say to me, Jannie, don't confuse luck and genius. You were lucky.
And how do you attribute that luck, and how does people get that luck? Because that's a big question.
I think in life you also have to take a decision. Once you know where you go and you have a plan, you must take a decision. You can't just sit there and let the opportunities go by. You have to have the guts to take a decision, and that's important because sometimes there's a lot of great people, they're just too scared to take a big decision.
Right, right. So what happened after you sold PAG? What was your next step? You obviously
and then there were all sorts of other opportunities we were looking at. Yes, we started immediately with the stockbroking company because I understood that.
Right.
And a lot of my old colleagues at SMK joined us. And today it's a very, very successful company, PAG Consult, with 224 offices. Willem Trom, the CEO, built that out into an enormous operation. And simultaneously, in the late 90s, we had our view on a banking operation, low-cost banking, and we started buying what they call this loan shark operations.
Right.
And it was unbelievable sort of story. We bought 300 loan shark operations, and at that stage my wife didn't want to speak to me because I was the biggest loan shark in the country.
Was they all individual companies?
Individual companies. We bought one group, I could remember, FinAid.
Right.
They had 40 outlets. And that was, and then Michiel, he was with us, Michiel Leroux,
Yes.
very smart businessman. Then he had decided, okay, now we must put in proper management. So Rian Stassen and his team joined us. At that stage, we were looking for a bank license, and the business bank, and the license became available because the business bank got into trouble, so we bought the bank to get the banking license, and we put the microloan operations together with the business
What year was
banking
that?
license. That was now between 98 and 2001.
Okay.
And then the Capitec team joined us, and they said immediately, great systems would be the fantastic people, Rian Stassen and his team. And then we changed the name to Capitec. And then we listed Capitec in 2002. Gives you one tremendous satisfaction. And part of it, I read the book of Muhammad Yunus, Anchor to the Poor in Bangladesh. A couple of years ago, they gave him a big Nobel Prize. So he inspired me to think along those lines, that there could be a bank for the unbanked sector in South Africa.
Right.
And today, it's an unbelievable business.
How many branches?
560.
Wow.
It could be 60, 565, because each and every time I speak, there's more branches.
So where's the tipping point? Where's the point
I
where-
think there's still growth opportunities in South Africa.